May the Holy Trinity be with you and watch over you this evening in this very special service of the Lamentations and the Orthodox really for tomorrow morning. We hear about Christ coming out of the tomb. We hear about his procession from here in the tomb to the inside of the church and the transition from the darkness to the light, the descent into Hades, where the colors, if you notice on the altar table, are bright now. If you think of all of Holy Week, some of you have asked questions about the timing of the services, and the Anastasi service being at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, as we will celebrate through the entire metropolis at 10 p.m. Some of you said, well, doesn't it have to be at midnight? Doesn't it have to be after midnight? And I remember a few years ago doing the Anastasi service early at the parish I used to serve so that the children could be there. And we had, I don't know, the altar was full of altar boys and the church was full of children because they were awake and could be there, and it wasn't going into 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning like some parishes have. And some people had said, well, why is it that it's not at midnight? Why did you say it was earlier? And I said, well, it's not really at midnight anyways. It's not like New Year's Eve. If you read Scripture carefully, you'll see that the women came to the tomb early in the morning and found that Christ was risen. It wasn't in the middle of the night. It wasn't at the stroke of midnight. It wasn't even at dusk the night before. It was first thing in the morning. It was early in the morning. And the church, for many years prior to our lifetime, celebrated the Anastasi early in the morning on Sunday morning. And all the services, including this service, was done earlier in the morning. So what happened is everything was moved back about 12 hours. So the evening services that we do were actually the morning of the next day. And why was that done is so that people who worked and had to work on their farms or with their animals could attend the church services in the evening as a leniency and a moving of things so that people could come after their work day to celebrate the church services. So why am I telling you all of this? Is because this service is technically in the tomorrow. It's a tomorrow service. So this is a Saturday morning Orthodox. And then we have the Vesperal Liturgy tomorrow in the morning, the Protopresbyter, which was actually the evening service of Saturday night. And then the Anastasi service that we'll celebrate tomorrow night at 10 p.m. was typically the morning of Sunday morning. So you can kind of see how everything moved back a little bit. And this service that we have now transitions from the purple colors that we had and the black that I wore to red this evening, and then white tomorrow, and then white from now on. So there's no more purple vestments or black vestments. I don't know if you can tell the color, but this is red. We typically wear red on Friday evenings, and the altar was red prior to taking the epitaphio into the altar and placing it on the altar table. So the image, the cloth that was on the kavuklion now is on the altar table, and you can see it somewhat sitting there. It will remain there for 40 days for the Paschal season as a reminder for all of us to not only proclaim that Christ is risen, but also to see the visual of that too. We don't proclaim Christ is risen tonight, as you well know and as I know as well, but this is now the movement of the week from the darkness of where we've been in the suffering of Christ, now to the descent into Hades that we will celebrate the liturgy tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and the throwing of the flowers that we have here as calling out to Christ to arise and to judge the earth. And then the beautiful Old Testament readings that we will hear tomorrow as well. So you'll notice that tomorrow in the morning, even though it's not the Easter, we're not singing Christos Anesti, the colors are light colors, which go back to what I said earlier in the week, There's no Sunday that doesn't include the resurrection. There's no Sunday where purple is seen in the church. And likewise, even on Saturday, there's the transition from the darkness to the light. So we see that the colors in the church now are transitioning from that dark colors in the dark church now to the brighter colors in anticipation of the resurrection, which we will celebrate. So I bring this up to you this evening as a reminder, not only for the colors and what you've seen throughout the week and heard, but also is the understanding that this is the funeral procession this evening for Christ, the taking of his body out and placing it inside the altar. So I know it was different for all of you at home, not having the ability to have to go underneath the kavuklion like many people do. But I want you to think about what that means to you. Sometimes people think, if I don't go under the kavuklion, I'm going to have a bad year. Or there's some strange ideology or superstition that if you don't go under, you're not going to have a good year. Or if you're not able to venerate it, or whatever the case is. Please don't think that. And don't let your mind get regimented into the rituals and the actions, but let those concepts sit in your heart, and let the understanding of this evening be in your heart. Bow down before Christ, as we say so many times in the service. As you knelt, as I did the procession around here on the Solea, God's hand will come upon you, and the blessings of God will come to you. We have to just ask for them and understand that these are very unique times and different times and difficult times. But you're not exempt from the blessings that come to us and come to all those who ask God for help and reach out to him in prayer. I pray that you have a blessed and peaceful evening, and that God strengthens you and guides you and watches over you. And God willing, if you're able to join us tomorrow for the streaming of the Protopresbyter, the Descent into Hades service, will start at 10 a.m. and then the Anastasi service in the evening will be at 10 p.m. So 10 a.m. in the morning, 10 p.m. at night. If you have not, if you're not getting my daily emails and you would like to do so, you can go on our church website, AssumptionChicago.org, and sign up on the listserv there, or you can send me an email directly, and I'll be more than glad to include you on my daily emails during this time, which have sermons, links, quotes, different things to keep you going and keep you strong throughout this time. Have a blessed evening, and God watch over all of you and your family. May he keep us all safe and healthy, and a blessed and peaceful night. Amen.